Ryan here with Prudential Pest Solutions, and in this video I'm going to show you how we treat for termites in a typical townhouse. Now, a townhouse presents a lot of problems when we come to termite control because when we think about termites, we need to treat and protect the entire foundation of the house, right? Well, what if your house is connected on either side to other houses? Well, we can't just go around the whole property because that would mean the one homeowner would have to take the cost of 4 or 5 houses. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how we treat this house for termites because it is a townhouse, and we're going to show you what we do in this circumstance. So the first step is on the front and the back. This is the back patio here. We're going to drill holes every 18 inches, and that's going to allow us to inject the termiticide. Now I'm going to show you in a little bit what that looks like. Now this is the front here. Now the front had its own challenges. Typically it's concrete, maybe mulch, but in this case it was pavers. Now we don't want to take the pavers out because I'm not a landscaper and putting Humpty Dumpty back together is very, very difficult. But we're going to go in between the seams because we don't want to crack pavers, we don't want to make it look bad, but we need to be functional. So we're going to go in between the seams, again, approximately every 18 inches. That way we can inject down into the slab and into the foundation or along the foundation there. Then when we go into the inside, I'm going to show you how we get along the house, the sides of the house that are connected to the neighbors. Okay, so right now we're just making sure that we have complete coverage on the front and the back. And a lot of times when we're drilling through, whether it's pavers or concrete, we discover other problems. So in this case, we found a whole colony of ants that were underneath this planter and underneath those pavers. Well, guess what? Our termite treatment is going to absolutely decimate those ants as well. So it's going to be a 2-for-1. We're there to treat for termites, but our termiticide that we use, which is Termidor HE, is built for social insects like termites and also ants. So the same concept is they're going to come across that product, take it back to the colony, and it's going to kill them. Now, how do we actually inject our Termidor HE, our termiticide, underneath those areas? Well, we're going to drill those 1/2-inch holes every 18 inches through the concrete and along the seams of those pavers. Next, we're going to take our injection rod, which is hooked up to a 50-gallon tank. This is in the back of our termite truck. All right, and then I'm going to use our flow meter here, and I'm just going to push the handle. It's going to start injecting the flow, and we're going to be very precise, which is why we have a flow meter, very precise with how much product we're actually putting into each and every segment. All right, because it's very important that we don't put too much, and obviously very important that we don't put too little. So we're going to go every 18 inches. We have it all calculated out. So I think in this case it was 0.2 gallons per hole. All right, so that means that every 5 holes is going to be 1 gallon. Now typically with Termidor HE, we're going to go 2 gallons per 10 linear feet. All right, and we have to figure all these calculations out. They're going to determine how much volume of fluid we're going to put down into those holes. Now, as we go into the inside of the house here, you can see this was a cinder block wall on either side. So again, we've treated the front and the back with our injection rod by drilling down, but what about the neighbor side? Well, that's all block wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our 1/2-inch holes, boom, right through the cinder block, and then we're going to be able to inject directly down into the cinder block into the soil between the houses. So it's a way for us to protect that homeowner that's in the middle of that townhouse row from termites on all sides. And we don't really have to go along the whole foundation, but we want to make sure the whole area of that's shared with the neighbor, but we want to make sure we have great coverage as best that we can. So in this case here, we're going to make the 1/2-inch holes through the block. We're going to inject that termiticide, and then when we're all finished up, we're going to put these polypro plugs into the holes. So you can see here, you just take the plastic plugs and we just push them right in, and it leaves a great finish. So in this case here, they had active termites in the corner of the basement. So we treated along the front of the foundation and the back, right? Those are the 2 areas on their house that were exposed because it's a townhouse. And then the areas that are connected by the neighbors, well, that's where we're going to go into that block wall on the inside because we can't treat from the neighbor side because there's a house there. So that's how we successfully eradicated these termites and also that ant issue that was on the outside there. So we're just going to finish up. We're going to put these plugs in there, and it's going to be absolutely fine. Now, why we like using this chemical is, number one, it's the best product available to us as professionals for termite control. And also because we're applying it below the slab and below the grade. So that means that kids, puppies, pets, and people aren't impacted at all by it. So if you have termites, call Prudential Pest Solutions, 484-401-4361.